Yo, what is going on, everyone? It's me, Core Creativity. I'm doing a. I haven't done one of these before, but I'm gonna do a reaction video to this Horizon State of Play. I am watching it through IGN's channel, which I personally I don't. A lot of people give IGN a bad rap. I like them, and I like some of the people that came from IGN, and also like some of the people I used to like watching G4 and stuff. So but I'm watching it through them. I'm keeping the chat up so I can read the chat. And you guys can see what I'm reading in case anyone says anything funny or not. But this is IGN's chat. My chat is not the one showing up on it. And I'll post this on YouTube or something. But I just want to see the live reaction, see how it goes, and yeah. Make sure my mic's going. So all this summer for like E3 and stuff, I'm gonna try to do reaction videos. Now, the only issue that I found out today actually is I will be having to work night shift, or not night shift until the night shift. So I may not catch, like I may watch them, but it may not be like a first reaction. I may watch them live, and then I might record it, like watching the replay later, and then put it on YouTube. I know that seems kind of like weird, but I kind of want to like, or I can do. Just let me know in the comments or something if you guys want me to just do a live reaction, just like not watch it live and then just watch the replay, or just watch it twice. Because I guess if I watch it twice, I'll be able to talk about it a little bit more, and I can tell you my thoughts. But we'll see. We'll do it that way. I need my friends on. Here, let me invite him. See if he wants to. See if he wants to join. He may not, though. I might just. All right. Hey. Hello.
Whoa, Afro Man,
Hello?
is that you?
Yeah. Hey, I'm doing like a live reaction to the Horizon State of Play thing, and I'm just kind of using this as an experiment because I might try to do live reactions of E3 this summer, maybe, because I found out I'm working 12 to 9, Monday through Friday.
That sucks.
So I might have to just I might have to record them on Saturday and Sunday and just like watch the replay, and then just put it on YouTube, which I already let my chat know. But do you want to be part of that live reaction? It's okay if not. I'm basically recording it now. But if you don't want to be, I can just cut this part out.
Nah, I'm okay, dude.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't even be there for the E3 stuff anyway.
Okay. Okay. So do you want me to like mute your mic or something, or?
Yeah, just mute my mic so that way it's not showing up in your video. And we can talk after you're done.
Alrighty. Oh, wait. You should still be able to hear me. Chat. Yep. Let me refresh it again just to make sure I didn't just do that. Okay. Yeah, for some reason, whenever you go to the Xbox dashboard, it like pauses the stream. But okay. All right, it should be starting here in a couple of seconds. Got a minute 19. I really like the first game. I still haven't beaten it though. I think I'm about like either halfway. I feel like I'm like about 50 or 60% of the way through it. But, I don't know. I feel like I'm like about 50 or 60% of the way through it. But, I don't know. I feel like I'm like about 50 or 60% of the way through it. But, this game is hard. At least I think it's hard. Some of those robot dinosaur creatures are just ridiculous. But I do want to just see what's happening in this game, just from a standpoint. Like I said, and this may hype me up to finish the first game. That way I can jump into this game when it comes out. All right, 30 seconds. I remember the first trailer had this like beach with the fish and stuff. I remember that. Here we go.
Hi everyone, my name is Matthijs de Jonge. I'm the game director on Horizon Forbidden West. Last year we revealed our ambitious new project, and since then the team has continued to make great progress on the development of the game. We are very excited and honored to give you an update in this state of play. And in the countdown video leading up to this moment, you have already seen glimpses of the Forbidden West. But now we have something truly special for you. Almost 14 minutes of gameplay captured on PlayStation 5. And you don't have to wait any gameplay captured on PlayStation 5. And you don't have to wait any longer. Let's get right to it.
Okay, they synced it back up. Someone said I love dubbed anime. Man, I wish I had a PS5. Mostly for Final Fantasy VII Integrated. This is pretty good so far too.
Easy, easy. It's okay. You're safe now. Here. Wait, what happened? Where's Erend?
Ambush. Ruins are crawling with raiders. They hit our camp hard. We ran and they chased us down. Aaron was away from camp. Scouting. I bet he's still out there.
What was that?
Raiders got machines on their side. Claw Striders. You should go after Aaron. If they find him before you do, who knows what they'll do to him?
No, you're injured. I have to...
Don't worry about me. I'll make my own way out. Get going.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that outfit.
What are raiders doing in these ruins? I hope Erend is okay.
Sorry.
Oh.
looks like they can ride.
Be careful. There might be more. Yep, another one.
Also, I like the music.
I need to get clear.
Whoa! That's a cool ability.
I can't shake him.
She's basically a ninja.
Up we go. Maybe I can lose him in here.
I don't know, the Aloy might be up there. Or Frog. I feel like Horizon
Guys won't give
is
up.
almost sort of like a modern
Lay out it down.
Yeah, the way that whole combat looked and like the free roam and like the gadgets and abilities, it's like very, very Tomb Raider to me.
Oh, don't mind me.
Those things are a bee and a half.
Current's strong here.
I have friends, okay? And not just the ones you slaughtered. But when they come looking for me, there's gonna be trouble.
Oh.
You guys wouldn't be laughing if I had my hammer. Enough! Get moving!
Oh yeah, he's one of those blacksmith guys from his army. I forgot their official name, but they're the ones who make the metal thing.
I gotta help Erend and deal with that tremor tusk.
Now we have two gifts for the gala. A tremor tusk and a loudmouth Oseram.
Which one's uglier?
Loot the camp. Make it look like bandits were here. Then we'll head for the old bridge and meet up with the others.
Will do.
Yeah, got it.
This must be Erend's camp. Raiders made short work of it.
Filthy Oseram.
Awesome. I think that's what they're called. Rusted spear.
Take you out.
Yo! That's cool. Got some dynamic combat in here. Some punches.
You think you can hurt me?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my god.
the hunt.
Okay, that... I don't know if I could do that in game. That looked like you had to be
Raiders said
accurate.
they were heading for the old bridge. Maybe I can cut them off.
But, okay. Aloy got man, you got some new moves.
Better get to higher ground. Find a way.
She got some Shaolin training. You know, I wonder if they're gonna do a thing where you can, like, with your fists make like electric fists, or like fire or ice with the little element things. That would be kind of sick.
There's the bridge. I think I know a way to get there fast.
Ooh. Got that Fortnite air glider. Dude, why didn't they put that in the Fortnite when they put Aloy in Fortnite? That would have been cool.
Be careful.
But I guess that could have been like a spoiler.
That should do it.
Can you ride it? Yep.
Help's on the way, Errant.
Aloy?
Aloy! Watch out! They have a...
Aaron, stay put! I'll handle this!
I have her!
Got ya!
Man down!
There's no way you hit that shot. There's no way.
Gotta keep moving.
Whoever, man. Well, I mean, I know it's like scripted because they're showing gameplay. But come on, dude. You're gonna hit that shot first try. Quick arrow
That must
snipe.
have hurt.
Be one thing to go slow motion.
I have to stay ahead of it. Gotta slow you down.
Oh, that's a cool move.
Oh, here he comes.
Bring us around!
Time to hit back.
We're under fire!
Oh, didn't like that, did you? Time to finish this.
Aloy!
Glad to see me.
You bet. I owe you another one.
Come on.
But this time, I have a present for you. I found it, Aloy. Huh? What'd you send me for? Right before the Raiders got me.
You did good. Now, let's see where this thing will take us.
always said a storm was coming.
Yeah. And it's almost here.
I didn't get it. They looked at the map and then the storm just appeared.
So there you have it, the first gameplay footage from Horizon Forbidden West running on PlayStation 5. We hope you are as excited about it as we are.
Gameplay deep dive.
While we have you here, we would like to spotlight some of the new elements you have just seen in our gameplay capture. And to help with that, please welcome Ben McCaw, Narrative Director on Horizon Forbidden West.
Thanks, Matthijs, and hello to all our viewers. Horizon Forbidden West is set 1,000 years in Earth's future, after a global catastrophe. People live on in primitive tribes, but they're no longer the dominant species. Giant, animal-like machines now roam the land, and they're extremely dangerous. The machines aren't the only threat in the Forbidden West. A strange red blight is spreading across the land, and it won't be long before it strangles all life. Aloy, our hero, is the only one who can stop the blight. But to do that, she and her companions will have to comb through the ruins of the old world to find the technology they need. In this quest, Aloy has sent her loyal friend Erend into the remains of San Francisco to find a crucial piece of technology. Erend encounters raiders from a rebel faction of the Tenakth tribe. They are vicious fighters, but even worse, they've acquired the power to override machines. To rescue Erend, Aloy winds up fighting them, but first, she must cross the ruins to reach their camp.
We face a lot of obstacles as we traverse the ruins of San Francisco. To overcome them, we've given Aloy some great new tools. Using the focus scanner, you can highlight spots that allow free climbing anywhere in the open world.
That's useful. That's
The
useful.
pullcaster speeds up climbing and can get you quickly out of trouble.
That's also
The shield wing allows you to safely descend from great heights or surprise enemies from above. With the diving mask, you can stay submerged as long as you like and take your time to plan a path around amphibious machines or boost through strong underwater currents. And to speed up overland travel, a variety of machines can be overridden and used as mounts or in combat. Combat in Horizon Forbidden West puts a strong emphasis on tactics and player choice. For close-range combat, the spear is an excellent option. There's a range of combos that have different uses and effects. Valor Surges add a unique set of special abilities, one of which can be used to knock back nearby enemies. The spear can be charged to create a high damage effect that can take down even the stronger enemies. A wide array of different weapons is quickly accessible via the weapon wheel. A slingshot with adhesive grenades to temporarily stall machines. Bows with arrows that can strip armor and expose weak spots. A powerful launcher that fires
Wasn't there already
spikes that
explosive
explode on
arrows?
impact. Smoke bombs that temporarily blind enemies. Or you can pick up weapons shot off from machines. The full game has many more unique weapons, and each of them can be upgraded on a workbench, but more on that another time. The player will need to be smart and creative and use all of the combat options we have shown to deal with a large variety of deadly machines. Sunwings in the sky, claw striders and tremor tusks on land, snapmaws in the water, even the seemingly harmless burrowers that you saw briefly swim by. They are all dangerous, and even more so when overridden by human rebels.
We've only scratched the surface of the rebel threat, as Aloy will fight them in many forms throughout the game. And to defeat them, she must explore the open world to uncover the secret behind their power, and how that secret is related to her quest to stop the Blight. And this is just one of the mysteries she will unravel as her journey through the Forbidden West takes many twists and turns.
It's time to wrap it up. We will have more updates closer to launch, and everyone here at Guerrilla can't wait for you to experience the full game. Thank you for watching.
Okay. I guess that's it. I don't know if sometimes they do like a after show debrief thing. Yep, yeah, they are. Oh, I'll watch this too. Why not?
Hello and welcome to IGN's Horizon Forbidden West PlayStation State of Play post show, all part of IGN Summer of Gaming. I'm Jonathan Dornbush, the host of Podcast Beyond, and all summer long we'll be bringing you exclusive gameplay and reveals and exciting first looks at the hottest new games.
Summer of
But
Gaming
right now, it's
2021.
time for Horizon, and what better way to discuss it than with a special episode of Podcast Beyond, as we just got our first look at official gameplay of Horizon Forbidden West, the gigantic new sequel from Guerrilla Games and one of the most anticipated PlayStation 5 games of the year. At least we hope it's still this year. We'll talk about that in just a second. But with me to yell about how awesome Horizon Forbidden West looks, I'm joined by Lucy O'Brien and Mark Medina.
Hello. Jonathan Dornbush. That was so much fun.
It was great. Yeah, I want to get some initial reactions before we jump into a little bit of the nitty gritty, because there's a lot to jump in there. But yeah, just sort of basic overview reaction to that. Lucy, you
actually started yesterday with the Monster Hunter one.
What do you think of this?
Go back and watch that.
A long time ago.
I'll probably watch it.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I think that it was a very very orchestrated vertical slice. You know, it showed us like little bits of everything. It didn't outstay its welcome. There were, of course, more things I wanted to know. But like what we saw is so exciting, particularly with regards to climbing, but we'll get into that in a little bit, and just general traversal. I think those are the things that thrilled me the most.
Yesterday.
Just getting around this world.
So I guess we're in the season.
There's so many more options. There's such a variety.
I saw the Sonic one earlier
around this world, and that's what really.
Which I probably won't go back and watch that.
Absolutely. And Mark, how about for you? What were your sort of big takeaways from it?
I mean, I guess
yeah,
it was only
it was
like
actually
12
exactly
minutes.
what I thought it was going to be, and exactly what I wanted. I wanted 14 minutes of like super varied gameplay. And that's what we got. It was like every minute was something new. It's like, hey, we're going to show you the water. We're going to show you climbing. We're going to show you a few new tools. We're going to end with a big boss fight. It was basically exactly what I was hoping for, and it's what we got. I love these, like, of course everybody loves the state of plays where it's like, hey, we're going to show you all these different games. But I love these deep dives when you know excitement for a game is high, and you know that it's coming soon, hopefully. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
I love this, like, hey, here's 14 minutes of like crazy varied gameplay. Who knows if this is a playable moment? It seems like it probably is. But it was just like a quick overview of a lot of different things. I loved it.
Yeah, it was a really smart approach, I think, to give us a overview of what has changed and what hasn't, because obviously this is a sequel to the original Horizon Zero Dawn, but with it coming as the first one on PS5, I'm sure they're going to want to get newcomers into the game. I do want to, of course, address the fact that it ends, it reaffirms it's coming to PS4 and PS5, but no firm release date. Did that shock either of you? Lucy, I guess I'll start with you. Were you expecting to kind of not know?
I was very sure of myself that we were going to get a release window, whether it was like Q4, like just something really generic. So I never expected a firm date, but yeah, I thought, Dorno, you were just saying earlier that with most of these state of plays, we kind of tend to get the game fairly quickly after, there's one of these kinds of deep dives. So I was expecting, a window. It's a shame we didn't get one, but I'm not complaining considering what we saw.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Mark?
Yeah, I didn't expect. I would have been fine with a window. If I was expecting anything, it would be a window. I'm not surprised we didn't get anything at all. I definitely didn't think we'd be getting an actual release date. It's weird when they do these state of plays. Like, we have to remember that E3 is weeks away. It's coming up. It's almost here, and. You have to assume that even though Sony is not part of E3, they usually do a conference around that time where they have a lot to show off now that a lot of their launch stuff is done, and we have God of War, Horizon, stuff like that. And so they're not going to be able to show 14 minutes of gameplay in a conference like that.
I guess that is true.
Those
this is the first E3 where the next gen consoles have launched.
To be like, hey,
so
we have this gameplay we want to
show
off. We want
so
to
this E3 we're probably going to see a lot of like
you
actual
remember,
new stuff.
The trailer for this game
PS5
is like
and
9
Series
months
X.
old already. Like this game has been around for a while.
And
so
that
the fact that
rumored
we're finally
new
seeing
Nintendo
gameplay
Switch
for it is super
I don't know
cool.
if that's panning
but yeah,
out,
I fully expect for them to do a bigger conference where they're going through a bunch of different stuff, and that's where we're more likely to see, at the least, a release window, at the most, an actual release date.
Yeah, absolutely. I am keeping up the PlayStation blog and Twitter just in case, because they do quite have a knack for revealing things afterwards. So we'll see if anything happens.
It's
that final
rumored to be
splash
announced at
screen
E3.
that was part of the footage. You know, it just showed the two, a PS4 and a PS5. Said it's a PlayStation exclusive. I think reaffirming, especially with some games coming to PC, like the original Horizon Zero Dawn, that this is launching on PlayStation specifically and not co-launching on PC. There's no date listed. There's no 2021. There's a 2021 copyright, but that's all we have to go off of. So I'm not going to go into any conspiracy theory Charlie Day at the board. There is no Pepe Sylvia sort of mode just yet, but I'm hopeful it comes this year. I think this would be like a really great sort of fall open world game to get lost in. But of course, the original came out in February of 2017, so it's also a great game to have at the beginning of the year when you're craving sort of like a big world to get lost in after the fall rush.
Well, and it's definitely like smart to keep an eye on that stuff. I don't think that they'll bury a release date anywhere. They could mention something like Windows, or the window is still 2021. But I do remember the PlayStation showcase, the PlayStation 5 showcase. They show Spider-Man, they show Horizon, and then it was like the Japanese PlayStation blog was like, by the way, these are also PS4 games, and people are like, wait, what? We thought these were PS5 games. So it's definitely been this like trend of theirs to be like, oh, by the way, it is coming in 2021.
Yeah,
I say it on our big show.
I actually can bring in Guerrilla Games themselves did tweet, thanks for watching our gameplay reveal. We don't have an exact release date just yet, but development is on track, and we'll have an update for you very soon. Thank you as always for your ongoing support. So that to me, at least probably does mean still 2021 is the target, is what they're aiming for. But we will have to wait a little longer until we get info on that. I do want to, of course, jump into the actual gameplay we saw, as you both were mentioning. I think this was a really great,
I didn't really look at it before, but those sand physics are the sand physics are really good.
This felt like one of those
like
big
the sand actually like pushes away when those lasers hit it.
I'm sort of used to at E3, and just everyone getting to see that all that at once is really, really exciting. And the one thing I want to talk about, sort of go off your point, Lucy, was the environment, and both traversal and this environmental detail. What was, I guess on the traversal side of it, what was really striking to you about what we were seeing from how Aloy is getting around this world?
I mean, to me, one of the things that I really dug was the verticality and the use of like high and low space. So the fact that, she was climbing and then plunging into the water and going like right down into the water, but also the sort of the new means in which she can climb and move around these environments. The zip hook, I've just seen it, so I'm not sure what the official word for this is, but the hooking to a ledge is really cool. And again, that little glider that she has is really cool. One thing that I really hope they do is play a little bit more with sort of air traversal. So I'm stoked to see this glider. I still have really high hopes that we're going to see actual like flying machines that you can ride. Like that was what I wanted from the original Zero Dawn, and it was honestly because the original was so good that I was just like, how could I imagine this even better? And for me, it was being able to ride like a Glint Hawk or something, actually being able to ride a machine.
Dude, riding a Glint Hawk would be nuts.
Again, I'm stoked with how they've expanded her sort of traversal repertoire. But I do hope that focus on air traversal is blown up a little bit more, just for me.
Yeah, I'm absolutely with you, and we're just about to go to a break in a little bit. So Mark, we'll get to your thoughts about the traversal just in a little bit. But yeah, I'm very much there with you. I thought the addition of the glider, and we'll probably talk about this more after the break, of the Horizon to Breath of the Wild comparisons that happened with the first game. Adding in a glider certainly doesn't help the case, but I think it is great to see this edition, because you're right. Especially with them now going underwater as more of a focus, which we got and we'll talk about as well, being able to also get into the air. Presumably, you're going to have to be able to get to one of those relatively easy, and what better way to do that than maybe on the back of a Glinthawk or another flying robot machine. That's kind of my hope there. We'll have to see where they take things. With that, I have a feeling there will probably be some more surprises, because we only got a pretty small number of, for lack of a better term, the robot dinosaurs. That we got to see in this bit of gameplay, and we're going to talk about those as well as a bit more of the environment and the gameplay and the combat, because there were some small tweaks in there that I think will hopefully go a long way for quality of life. But we'll be tossing right to a break in the meantime, and we'll be talking much more about Horizon Forbidden West after that.
Can't wait.
IGN Summer of Gaming 2021 is presented by USAA Insurance.
Here, 1 second.
National
Yeah, like I said, looks good.
She's innocent.
Is that Dying Light? But it looked good. I see the candy, so I just want to. I just hope it's not too terribly hard.
Worldwide. Everybody loves watching a speedrun
I mean, the first
of
one's
their
not terribly
favorite
hard either,
game.
but
What if you got a chance to peek into the mind of the developers behind those games as they watch their hard work get completely destroyed right in front of them?
Some of those bosses are ridiculous.
That's exactly
And
what happens on every episode of Devs React to speedruns. We invite you to ride along with the developers as they watch, react, and enjoy some of the craziest gameplay by the most skilled speedrunners on the planet. Tune in every Saturday for a brand new episode.
In a world with non-stop news about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, you need a show with accurate reporting, hard-hitting commentary, and
me, Akeem Lawanson, host of IGN's news show, The Fix Entertainment.
I like
a
Akeem.
superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement,
one of my
I'll
favorite
be
guys
here covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch The Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
Welcome back to IGN's Horizon Forbidden West
I like
State
how
of
they
Play post
abbreviated
show.
it to
I'm your host, Jonathan Dornbush, and this is all part of IGN's Summer of Gaming. And with me to talk about all of that awesome Horizon footage we just saw are my good pals, Lucy O'Brien and Mark Medina. Now, just before the break, we were talking a little bit about environmental detail. And Mark, I did want to get your thoughts on sort of your general impressions of the traversal and everything.
Yeah, so Lucy pretty much covered a lot of it. Where it seems like a lot of Horizon Zero Dawn is a very I don't want to say flat game, but because there's definitely some mountains and some hills and stuff like that. But it's a very wide game. There's nothing underwater. A lot of the climbing was very scripted, I guess you could say. Like, you can only climb in very specific points. If there was like a structure, there was a reason to climb that structure. It wasn't just like, I want to climb it. It was like, you're climbing it because you want to get on top of a tall neck or something like that. And so the fact that you can use her focus to try to see, it's not necessarily free climbing. You're still seeing those like little yellow notches, and it's showing you where you can. But it's like the fact that she was just surrounded by trees, and you
that kind of reminds me of Mirror's Edge. Because in the
and she
first
just,
game, it was
climbs
very
up on
like
him
you
and
have to go
dives
this
into the
way.
water. Like
Mirror's
that
Edge,
makes the game
Catalyst,
so much
it was
bigger,
very
'cause
like you
it's
can
like,
choose where to
even
go.
if the
Because
map
it
was the
showed you,
same size, now
you know, like
there's
the
an
red,
underwater map,
the
and
red
now there's
indicators. In the
all these
first one, it was
high
like
up
you had to
areas.
go in a certain spot.
Yeah,
But this
and then
this
there's
reminds me
also
of
been
that.
so many comparisons to Breath of the Wild, even though I firmly believe that the games couldn't be any more different. But them adding a a glider, I thought was really funny. I think it looks really, really cool. It's very on brand. It's super techy and stuff like that. So yeah, I think the traversal. I also, there's a little bit of parkour in there. You see her kind of like jump onto a branch and kind of like, hoist over it, and then the hook shot there. I think it looks really, really cool. I think it looks really, really fun.
Yeah, overall, it feels much more fluid, which I think is probably the biggest mark against the original in terms of its traversal, the Breath of the Wild comparisons notwithstanding, of it could be a little bit stilted. And here it feels like there are more options to get around, it's quicker, it's smoother, and generally will be more useful both while you're exploring, but also in combat. And so I do want to talk a little bit about combat, because there's a lot that we saw here. We saw essentially two main fight sequences. One was with more human characters, and one was with humans riding on the back of a tremor tusk. I want to start with the human-only fight, which started out from a little bit of a stealth section. And Lucy, I want to start with you. I think for me, the human combat, like human to Aloy to other human combat, was one of the weaker parts of the first game. It was obviously always so much more fun to go head to head with a few different robots and figure out how best to attack them. This felt like they're trying to that they're directly addressing that here. What did you think of the human encounter that we saw?
Yeah, I mean, it was very Last of Us-y, but we sort of have established that kind of style of gameplay is very Sony first party. You know what I mean? Like what we're seeing right now is classic Sony first party action adventure. It looks cool. I mean,
it's true. Most Sony first parties are.
I've never been super invested with the human to human stuff, just like you.
Not so, they have
like
the whole
stealth.
Sneak up on people and then
I like
fight
the fact
everybody
that she now
type
has
of thing.
this sort of again,
which is fine. I like that type of stuff anyway.
I completely missed the official name, but it's like a limit break, something akin to a limit break.
The Valor Surge.
The Valor Surge.
Valor Surge, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, right. It looked fluid. I mean, you can see here it looks fluid. It looks graceful. The proof is when we get our hands on it to see how it actually feels. But everything that I can see happening right now is really promising in terms of upgrading that rather pedestrian human to human combat in the first game.
Yeah. And
so how do you activate that? Is that like a counter, or is it just you just activate it when you get it?
I think while we were watching
I shouted out while we were watching. I was like, "Whoa, she has a limit break! What?"
And that's just all it is, and it looks cool. I'm all for those flashy moments where they get to show off the detail in her weaponry and her costume and just everything in the environment. It's a really smart little touch. But yeah, Mark, I was curious about your thoughts on what we saw from that human encounter, because for me, I think in the first game, bringing in the staff for hit always felt very slow and a bit removed from the rest of the combat. Here things look more like everything gels together. What did you think of the look of it?
Yeah, so when we were watching the gameplay, I yelled out loud. I was like, "Whoa, this is like Last of Us!" Like they're having a conversation. I fully expect that eventually you'll be sneaking up on people and you'll hear hey Rick, did you check those things? And he's like, "Yeah, I got it." And then it's you kill one of them and they're like, "Oh no,
my
Richard's dead." Trying to make you care about these characters that you're just blindly murdering. But yeah, exactly what Lucy said, whereas or both of you actually, the combat in the first game, fighting a robot and fighting a human, the combat was designed around fighting the robots. So then you just use that moveset against the humans, and so you're just trying to get headshots and you're throwing traps and stuff at them, but it never felt like it was designed to actually fight other bandit camps. This definitely felt like fighting a robot versus fighting a human are drastically different. The camera moves in a lot tighter. She has a completely different moveset. The Valor Surges look incredible. I can't wait to see what more she has in her arsenal. But yeah, I think my favorite part of the human fight was when she got on that dude's chest and kicks off of it, and it goes into slow motion, and then while she's in the air, she's like pelting him with arrows. I actually do 100% believe that stuff like that is in the game. It looks very cinematic, but a lot of the moves you did in the first game looked very cinematic. And so, yeah, I love that fighting humans is going to be different this time around than fighting robots. She seems to have a moveset tailored towards human encounters.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Basically, it feels more designed for that. I think you're absolutely right. And it feels more purposeful with what we're seeing here. And obviously, this is just a small slice. We might end up fighting a bunch of raiders, and it is just pelting them for headshots and hoping it works out. But I liked the mix of that juxtaposed with the massive Tremor Tusk fight, which felt a little bit more classic Horizon, for sure, but just amped up in a way that really excites me. For me, at least, the things that stuck out were just the sheer number of switching that had to happen to really take on what was essentially a robot enemy with humans atop it, and the layers of that, as well as sort of the destructibility of the environment around it. Lucy, what stuck out to you from that Tremor Tusk battle?
Well, I mean, I do want to say I'm gonna have a little whine here, just because I really like the look of the Tremor Tusk, and the thing is, we knew that the Tremor Tusk was coming because it was revealed in the launch, not the launch trailer, the reveal trailer, and I kind of wanted something a little bit bigger in scale, because that for me is what makes the Horizon Zero Dawn experience, is this tiny little Aloy going up against this huge, skyscraper sized thing. But with all that said, I thought the combat here looked wonderfully varied. I loved the use of the spike thrower, and the gravity well, and the goo shot was that was the one that we were just saying, I love the goo grenade. I mean, they've really they've clearly paid a lot of attention to mixing up new ways in which to take down these machines, which they kind of had to do, right? If it was just the same arsenal that she had in the first game,
I mean, that is still
we're
pretty
all very
big.
used to that, and obviously these machines are designed a little differently this time around. And I really like the fact that it just, again, it was the same as Traversal. It just looks like she has more in which, more to utilize this time around. And I thought it on top of that, it completely promised that same kind of breathless combat encounter with a massive machine that just, that adrenaline heart pumping fight that you can have in this game. And I think it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there, and for me, it was the exciting combination of getting to see Aloy basically trying to run away and get some relief for a second. I really liked that balance of it. I'm totally with you. I hope with this new arsenal, or the new arsenal matches the new enemies we're gonna have to fight, because we're seeing a lot of different robot enemies, and we'll get into those in a little bit. But yeah, Mark, just briefly, how was the combat for you?
Yeah, so this fight is kind of like your classic Horizon. It's kind of like your classic Horizon fight, where it's this. You start and this monster is huge and he's intimidating and he seems to have all the advantages in the world. And then as you can see here, this is, talking about the B-roll you're seeing on screen, this is a drastically different Tremor Tusk than you saw a minute ago. He's losing. He's got his little basket thing knocked off of his head. You're stripping away his armor parts, and it's just that classic Horizon where you start to feel bad, because it's just they come at you and they have all these guns and they have all these armor, and you just very slowly, kind of Monster Hunter style, you just pick them apart and blow their pieces off of them, and so you can see here at the end, it's kind of this desperation where it's trying to do anything it can to stop this little red-headed creature from blowing its bits off, and it loses. So it's kind of like that classic you start to feel bad for the robots at the end there.
It's a little bit of the Shadow of the Colossus vibe of like, I don't feel good about what I'm doing right now. Why? Yeah. But also it looks really cool, so I'm gonna keep attacking. Yeah. But yeah, you mentioned the sort of the takedown of the human mount and their sort of like their basket that they were in. I loved the effect of all of that happening. Like, to me, that feels like one of the most new gen, like PS5 capable things, to be able to see all of that collapsing while the fight's going on.
We all like audibly gasp when it leans forward and you just see that all come off. I was like, whoa, like that's so cool looking.
I mean, the designs of these things are so weird and intricate. Like, that's what I always loved from the first game. And I Mark, you said that this was like a classic Horizon sort of fight, and I so agree. Like, and that I'm so pleased that they're not messing with that formula, because that is what makes Horizon a Horizon game, right? Like, are these huge scale fights with these intricately built like Lego machines almost, where you're shooting bits off and then revealing other bits underneath until you get to that like explosive gas canister underneath their right leg or something. You know what I mean? It's just like there's so it's such a classic formula, but it works so well. And even just watching this, my heart was like thumping, because I was sort of taken straight back to those encounters from the first game.
Yeah, it's definitely a great sort of, as you were saying, classic Horizon style combat, and I really can't wait to see. This is only the first big enemy that we're seeing, so I can't wait to see what the other enemies look like. And we're going to be talking about all of the enemies that we did see, all of the wonderful robot dinosaurs, and much more in just a little bit. But for now, we'll have to take a short break. So in the meantime, why don't you go around your house and count how many broken mugs you can find, because that was a thing you did in the first game when you were also trying to save the world, that very important thing you were doing. So you should go do that right now, and we'll be right back right after this break.
IGN Summer of Gaming 2021 is presented by Army National Guard. Pursue multiple paths while you serve. Reach your greatest potential with Army National Guard. And USAA Insurance.
But yeah, I'll try to watch most of these just to get my reaction and thoughts on.
Not only is IGN the world's
I may
biggest
have
media
some special
brand for
guests
games and
join me
entertainment,
every
we
once
also
in a
have a
while.
team of some of the world's biggest fans
But we'll
of
see,
your
we'll
favorite
see.
franchises. From breaking news and exclusives, never before seen looks at movies and
Get
games,
back in the groove of things.
reviews,
I actually
Let's
have
Plays, and
not
live streams,
watched a lot of
IGN
gaming
brings you
news in
all
a
the coverage you
while.
need,
I've been
no matter where you are.
busy with
Whether you're on
crazy schedules
IGN.com,
and stuff.
the
but
IGN app, YouTube,
now it's the summer.
Facebook,
I'm
or
gonna
Snapchat,
get back
always
in.
got you
And now that I
covered.
have a computer, I can
IGN,
actually
the number one source
show
for all
my
games and
my
entertainment
face when I
fans
react to this
worldwide.
stuff instead of just
In a
like
world with
posting it
non-stop
on my
news
channel.
about Marvel, DC, Star Wars,
doing
you
that
need
kind
a
of
show
thing,
with
so.
accurate reporting, hard-hitting
So now we can just all watch it
Me,
together.
Akeem Lawanson, host of IGN.
Like I said, I'll be live streaming it, but I'll also be
Whether it's
I'll
the
put it on
latest
YouTube and
superhero
stuff
scoop,
afterwards.
film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be here covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch the Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for? We're constantly updating our feeds to bring you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, the best user-generated videos and art, memes, and a whole lot more.
I feel like they should
be
update
part of the
this.
conversation
I feel like
throughout
that's
the
been
year.
up there since
Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter,
2019?
Facebook, TikTok,
2018?
and Snapchat.
Been like a couple years.
Everybody loves watching a speedrun of their favorite game, but what if you got a chance to peek into the mind of the developers behind those games as they watch their hard work get completely destroyed right in front of them?
What is happening right now?
That's exactly what happens on every episode of Devs React to Speedruns. We invite you to ride along with the developers as they watch, react, and enjoy some of the craziest gameplay by the most skilled speedrunners on the planet. Tune in every Saturday for a brand new episode.
welcome back to IGN Summer of Gaming and a special post-show of Podcast Beyond after the Horizon Forbidden West State of Play from PlayStation, and I'm joined by my wonderful friends Mark Medina and Lucy O'Brien to talk about everything we saw. We've talked a little bit about the traversal and the combat a bit, and we're very excited about all of that, but I do want to touch on, of course, those wonderful dinosaurs. And they're not just dinosaurs. I know there are many other creatures within this robotic world, but I like calling them robot dinosaurs because it's fun. Please don't be mad at me, Internet. I really love the design of some of the ones that we've seen here. The Claw Strider is for some of the B-roll that we have up right now, being ridden by some of the raiders. The Tremor Tusk battle we were talking about a little bit earlier. Lucy, what did you think of the design of the new creatures that we saw?
Yeah, I mean, yes, robot dinosaurs is reductive, but dinosaurs were clearly the inspiration for the Claw Striders. I love how they are basically extremely armored velociraptors with chainsaw teeth. I mean, that's fairly terrifying. Again, their moveset is really fluid, just like a velociraptor has typically been portrayed in cinema. And I thought that particular encounter was when she was running from them was really quite terrifying, particularly because they sort of swarm on her en masse. And I can imagine being chased and overwhelmed by a group of those is going to be a real challenge. And obviously getting to higher ground or diving underwater is going to have to be a sort of choice you make. In the original Horizon Zero Dawn, I remember stumbling across an area with machines that were way too advanced for where I was, level-wise. And I can imagine being swarmed by a group of those potentially in the early game will be quite terrifying. So I loved their design. I loved the big, what are we calling him? I want to call him the big
Tusk.
The big Tremor Tusk, our big elephant friend. And again, I love that they pull from, the animal kingdom and dinosaurs as well. And I loved, he was dangerous, but he looked like a big old elephant. Just a big old elephant with bits on him,
Exactly.
But again, the size and the fact that he has so much sort of armory was clearly really cool. And yeah, I mean, again, it felt like we were just getting a tease of what they've cooked up for the second game, because the machines have always been the calling card, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. And you were saying in the last section of how all their Lego pieces, and I really feel like I would spend too much money on Lego sets of all of these if they made those official. I think I've seen some fan mock-ups, but man, if you sold that as a line PlayStation, you have my probably hundreds of dollars, because Lego is very expensive. But Mark, I did want to hear from you on the design of these. We saw a few, a little bit, in the underwater section. Stuff. I believe they were called burrowers.
Lego Mile.
Great look at them, but Claw Strider and Tremor Tusk definitely took the spotlight. But what did you think
early
of them,
day,
especially with the ensemble we already have?
Yeah, so we saw some new ones. We saw some familiar ones. When you look at something like the
I would not want to fight those alligator
it's
ones
very
in the water,
reminiscent
though.
of the first game.
No, sir.
The Tremor Tusks, yeah, those things look terrifying. I do expect that we'll see more like the alligators were in the first game. So I assume we'll start seeing more, maybe we'll see Thunderjaws, and we've already seen some of the bird robots. I don't know. But I also want to mention, of the robots we saw in this gameplay demo, we didn't see a lot that they've shown already, like the little crab guys that were on the beach in the first reveal trailer 9 months ago, or the shell snappers, the big turtle guys. There's still so many that we ended up not seeing. That's what I'm really excited for, is we've now gotten a glimpse of all these CGI kind of crustacean kind of creatures, and now we're seeing some in the actual gameplay itself. But what Lucy mentioned earlier was you would walk into an area and you'd be like, whoa, this is way too hard for me. These monsters are way too big. And that's kind of what I'm excited for, is I'm excited what I'm seeing on screen, but I'm also
places
very
where I
excited
just
for what they are not showing us yet. Because Horizon had these areas, Zero Dawn had these areas that
some of those creatures are too hard to fight. At least if you're
that
like,
area
don't have
was
enough
meant to
equipment for it.
house this specific creature, you know, creatures that would go, you know, bury into the earth and stuff like that. And so like that's what I want to see, is to go into this area and you're like, oh, this is like a mini boss, and this is meant to be you know, this area is tailored around this one creature. I also want to see more of how the humans interact with the different robots. Like we saw humans riding the Striders, and we also saw humans riding the big
those
Tremor
chainsaw
Tusk. And so it's like
teeth.
I'm interested to see how other creatures in the game are retrofitted for humans to be able to, and tribes to be able to ride them.
Yeah, that felt like a very telling moment, and especially when Aloy calls out the fact that the Raiders are on the Claw Striders and what that means. And I really, as Lucy was saying earlier, or I think we may have all been saying it, but like, I really hope we see someone on a flying robot at some point in footage. But I do want to talk about, you know, you were discussing sort of the idea of like in the original, things felt pretty. There could be areas where you come in and it felt very bespoke to the enemies you were going to fight, and the exciting revelations you would get by exploring that environment. We don't get a ton of the environment of, I assume, the entire game, but we do get this pretty detailed chunk of the, as we learn a little bit into it, the San Francisco coastline by the Golden Gate Bridge, which has been a very big selling point image since the reveal trailer last year for the state of the world. You know, especially as people who have lived and worked within the Bay Area, it's very cool to see. I'm not expecting them to do anything too one-to-one of, you know, like, oh yeah, that overtaken block is where I used to get a sandwich in the morning. But I think it's going to be like a fun approximation of, you know, being in San Francisco 1,000 years after it's been through an apocalypse.
Yep. Interesting.
Lucy, what did you think of the environmental detail that we saw, and specifically, you know, like the San Franciscan nature of it?
Well, I'm driving across the Golden Gate Bridge tomorrow, so there you go. Yeah, I mean, I think it looks stunning. I think that they can do a lot with just a series of iconic landmarks. You know, if you just have, like, if you see the bridge, or you have a sunken Palace of Fine Arts, like, it's going to make me sort of giddy, because this is a city that I know and love. But, you know, elsewhere, I just think that this whole area is stunning. And, you know, a lot of it is, like, this is how beautiful it looks in a sort of minute-to-minute, like, traversal. But also just the promise of those larger structures in the background. You know, that's what really excites me. Like,
they're
I
talking
can't
about
wait
crossplay
to see
in the chat.
How
I don't know if you guys can see
they have, you know, how big that this game is. Like, we know it's going to be a bigger map than the first game, but we also know it's going to be on the PS4. So I'm not entirely sure, you know, exactly how big it's going to be. Yeah. But the scale is something that I'm really, really interested in sort of checking out, because Horizon Zero Dawn was the first PS4 game. I was going to say next gen. It was next gen at the time. PS4 game that sort of really made me go, oh, this is what the PS4 can do, right? Mm-hmm. Like, for me personally, I know others might have had a different experience, but it was like, this is what the PS4 can do. And I do kind of want a little bit of that for the PS5 with Horizon Zero Dawn. Again, I know it's being retrofitted. Cross-gen. Cross-gen. But I do want to see how far they push the sense of scale, because that is what Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West is all about.
Yeah, I'm totally there with you. I can't wait to go watch this presentation after we record this in 4K the way it's meant to. That's always the funny thing about these state of plays, is like, you watch it and then you go actually watch how it's supposed to look, because it very clearly is a beautiful world. And I think like the rich detail of the more like tropical foliage that we're getting blended with the, you know, concrete man-made structures is a really nice detail that we didn't get. We got in certain pockets of the world in Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'm curious how much it's prevalent in Forbidden West, of how much we'll see this like nature retaking the land that man took from it. Mark, what did you think of this little pocket of the environment that we got to see?
Yeah, so it was really funny when it was starting, and she's giving that guy some water and stuff like that, and you know, you're in a cutscene, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna go find Erend. And the camera starts to move, and all of us at the same time, we're like, oh, here, it's time for that like classic Sony moment. And sure enough, like, the graphics don't change, nothing changes, but the camera just swoops behind Aloy, and she just starts running. And you're like, yeah, we're in engine here. This game is gorgeous, and something about Horizon Zero Dawn is every time you stopped moving and you like pause the game, like it looked like a painting. And we got 5 hours of a countdown timer that was showing slow pans of the world, leading up to this gameplay reveal. And it was like there wasn't a moment that I didn't look over because I had it running the entire 5 hours that I wasn't like, wow, I cannot wait to be there. Yeah, as far as the San Francisco part, I think it's always fun for people like us who live in San Francisco or have lived in San Francisco. That it's kind of like that Watch Dogs 2 moment where you're like, oh, I can't wait to explore places that I recognize. I'm gonna go find the sunken IGN office. I think this one's gonna be a little different, only because a lot of this is underwater. The arts building and all that stuff, that was all like already sunken, and so you could see like tiny little islands that people were theorizing that those aren't actually islands, they're the top of skyscrapers and stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to be as recognizable as something like Watch Dogs 2, where you're like, oh wow, like there's the painted ladies. I don't think you're going to see stuff like that, but I do think that there are going to be definitely some moments, especially seeing the Golden Gate Bridge. Anyone who's seen it in real life knows that it's like it is really a sight to behold. So to see it in the game, and she's fighting the Tremor Tusk, and you just see those giant arches in the background, I think is really, really cool. As far as detail goes, they've said many times that this game is built for PlayStation 5 and then brought down to work on PS4. Obviously, there's still things that they're going to have to do to make it where it is able to run on that console. But I don't remember hearing anybody complain about Miles Morales on PS4. Like for all like from what people have said is that the game is still absolutely gorgeous. You can see this gameplay's running at 1080 30. I don't know if that was because of the stream, or if it's likely to have a performance mode versus a frame rate mode. I bet it will. But this game, it looks like a game that I'm willing to sacrifice the frame rates and run at 30 so I can get the full HDR 4K resolution. Because man, this game just everything about it looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I think the thing that really excites me about what we're seeing from this footage too is the color palette of it, like the brightness of the reds and the blues, and there was some of that definitely in Horizon, but you also would get a lot of darker areas and a lot of white because of the snow. And so I like what this seaside setting, bayside setting can bring to it, because there is just, as you were saying, Mark, it can look like a painting. Horizon can look just like you stop and you're looking at a painting, and it's beautiful. And I can't wait to see what they're able to accomplish with Horizon Forbidden West, especially on PS5, but hopefully on PS4 as well.
And you're like in this jungle, and it's like crazy, that snap when she goes from the jungle to underwater, and you're like, whoa, I'm like in a watercoloring painting now. It's a sight to behold.
It's gorgeous, and we'll have a little bit more to talk about with Horizon Forbidden West and some other PlayStation news. But unfortunately, we're going to have to take a quick break, but don't worry, it's a very quick break. We'll be faster. Then you could fast travel in Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'm mostly saying that because it kind of took a little long to actually fast travel in that game. It was slow. It took a long time. Anyway, we'll be back soon. Please stick around.
IGN Summer of Gaming 2021 is presented by USAA Insurance and Army National Guard. Pursue multiple paths while you serve. Reach your greatest potential with Army National Guard.
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for? We're constantly updating our feeds to bring you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, the best user-generated videos and art, memes, and a whole lot more. Be part of the conversation throughout the year. Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat.
That one guy in chat said his piece
In a
and he's
world with
dipping out.
non-stop news about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, you need a show with accurate reporting, hard-hitting commentary, and
Me, Akeem Lawanson, host of IGN's news show, The Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be here covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch The Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
Everybody loves watching a speedrun of their favorite game, but what if you got a chance to peek into the mind of the developers behind those games as they watch their hard work get completely destroyed right in front of them?
What is happening right now?
That's exactly what happens on every
Someone look
episode
up
of
their
Devs
schedule real
React to
quick.
Speedruns. We invite you to ride along with the developers as they watch, react, and enjoy some of the craziest gameplay by the most skilled speedrunners on the planet. Tune in every Saturday for a brand new episode.
Wait, Dying Light apparently had a live stream that I missed too.
Welcome back to IGN Summer of Gaming.
So
Horizon
Geoff Keighley's
Forbidden
Summer
West,
Game
State
Fest
of Play
kicks
post-show
off
with a special episode
June
of Podcast
10th.
Beyond. Those were a lot of words that I just said right there, and I apologize because names can be long sometimes. But here to help me sort through all of that are my good friends Mark Medina and Lucy O'Brien. Lucy and Mark, thank you so much for joining me. We've been talking a lot about Horizon Forbidden West's environment, the combat, the robot dinosaurs, and a lot more. Obviously, I'll just say briefly, of course, we're not really touching on story because there wasn't a lot of story there, and I have a feeling they're going to save a lot of the big reveals for how this plays into the overarching lore for when we play the full game. I will say it's definitely worth noting, of course, Erend of the Oseram tribe, I believe, shows up in a little bit of that gameplay. But for now,
so
the rest
so
of the story
essentially,
remains
there's
a
three
mystery.
main
What doesn't
events
remain a
going on
mystery
this
is
summer.
some comments from all of you out there.
Actually, I'll talk about
as
it
the
after
stream
this.
was going
After
on.
this, I'll talk about
One of our wonderful producers noted that, in fact, much of the YouTube chat is asking for a shark robot machine to fight, and the snap maws were already pretty terrifying for me. I don't know if I could handle an a shark as well. But
I disagree. I want a shark.
Oh.
One of the things, I'm just sorry, I know I'm going off script a little bit, but one of the
How
things
dare
that I
you.
love so much about Horizon is that it can be terrifying, right?
Yeah.
Like, and one of the things that I loved was, reaching those machines that were overpowering, like, and you were underleveled and having to run away. And I love this idea of a kind of like a Jaws scenario when you're traversing through the through underwater, especially because you have, I think that that's what they're going for. You've got like a dash ability underwater where you can actually, like Aloy can propel herself from certain ledges. And I really love the idea of being, I know this sounds sick, of being like pursued underwater. It's freaking terrifying. And so I would love it if there were, shark-like machines that would chase you. Yes. Give me it.
And the sharks will definitely have laser beams on their heads. Cue the Austin Powers B-roll.
Thank you, Mark. Frickin' sharks
that
with
was
frickin'
that
laser
was a
beams.
test. That was a
No,
test.
no
The
quotes.
producers
No
failed.
Austin Powers quotes, please.
Lucy, you're on the wrong show with Mark and me. If that's one of your qualifications for,
I've
this
told them
episode is
if
gonna
me and
be.
Dornbush are on a show together, always have Austin Powers B-roll at the ready.
Yeah, we
They let me down.
can buy the music rights, right? That shouldn't be a problem if we just start playing Super Bossa Nova. Anyway, I agree with you though, Lucy. I think the first time you see a Stormbird in Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm forgetting the other one, but there's sort of when you're in like the desert area and you come across just that gigantic robot enemy to fight, and it's just the sort of the awe and the spectacle and the fear of it is such a wonderful mixture of feelings.
Yeah, that's
that this
true. I
game's
was
able
scared
to
of that thing.
evoke.
Killed
and you're
me
right.
instantly.
I don't want the shark because sharks scare me, but I also do want the shark because, as you were just saying, like Jaws. A Jaws.
I'll tell you what,
moment
if there's like a
against
snake
giant
one,
robot
that would
shark
scare
be
me.
So cool. As like a mini.
And not like a giant. Well, actually, even a giant snake
We
would
were
probably scare
seeing
me.
some other comments. Former, of course, Podcast Beyond member, and now Sony Santa Monica writer. So obviously, she's spilling all the secrets about Horizon. But Alana Pierce did mention, "Well, I am absolutely blown away by how Horizon Forbidden West looks graphically and aesthetically. Those gameplay updates are killer. The melee verticality and traversal options are just chef's kiss. Very excited. Thank you, Gorilla." And yeah, I think that'll be a lot of the stuff that the quality of life while playing the game that I'm really looking forward to. That like once you're 10 hours in, it will be hard to think that Horizon Zero Dawn didn't have those moves. I think it's going to be something this will probably achieve pretty easily.
That's something that was kind of bouncing around in my mind. Is like I fully expected the game to be gorgeous. We'd already seen the trailer. We know that Zero Dawn was gorgeous. I think what jumped out to me the most was the really cool, the limit break and the little the parasail and all that stuff, and this parkour you're seeing on screen. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, yeah, the game was going to be gorgeous. That's fine, but damn, does it look fun to play?
Yeah, and that's definitely going to be an important upgrade, because I think they've shown they can nail the beautiful world, but to really solidify the great foundation they built with the first game in Forbidden West, I think is going to be really exciting. Another comment from me just said, unlikely, but I'd love if they scrapped the open world and just had large levels like the one shown with a bunch of stuff. They did a curse that I can't say, packed into each one. Beach levels, snowy mountains, volcanic lands, etc. And my only thought is, I feel like the first game sort of did that. It was an open world, yes, but it kind of felt almost like Mario-esque, and like, oh, I'm going to the snowy region. Oh, here's the desert. Oh, here's the city in the middle of it all. I feel like we're going to get a little bit of that here. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I have to disagree with me. I'm sorry. It's a great suggestion, but for me. I'm again, and I keep coming back to this, I know I'm beating the drum, but like, I do love the idea of just stumbling across something that you're not meant to. I mean, but you are meant to. That's all part of the experience, right? It's all part of like, okay, this is not something, I have not been guided to this area. This is something that I have stumbled upon, right? And that is so much part of the thrill of this world, is that you feel like you were just sort of put into it, like it wasn't designed around you. And all the best game world building makes you feel like that it was not designed around you. You just happened to be there. And that's what I love so much about the open world nature of Horizon.
Yeah, to me, Horizon is meant to be open world. When you get those moments with Last of Us and Uncharted, and you're like, yeah, these are very like scripted, very beautiful, dense areas. That's not really what I would want Horizon to be. I like Horizon's big open worlds that you can kind of go wherever you want. You can, we talked about it earlier, kind of stumble upon an area where you're like, whoa, I'm not supposed to be here yet, and kind of stuff like that. But I do think they keep the biomes fresh enough where it's like you're in snow, you're in desert. Right. The first trailer showed a ton. This is like a jungly beach area. But even also in the countdown leading up, we saw snow areas, we saw a desert area, we saw, familiar looking kind of Zero Dawn areas. So it's like, I think there's going to be enough of a variation there for people.
Yeah, and I'm certainly interested to see what they do with San Francisco proper, and what parts of the city remain and what don't, and how you can play around in there. That was something that Last of Us, obviously a much sooner apocalypse, but did very well with the Pacific Northwest. So I'm curious to see what they do with that sort of topography and all that. But we'll largely leave, I think, our Horizon Forbidden West thoughts there. Obviously, we didn't get a release date. This is our first look at gameplay, so we'll have probably plenty more to discuss about Horizon in the months to come. I hope not too many months, because I really, really want to play this game. It looked awesome, and I'm very excited about what we saw. But as this is an episode of Podcast Beyond, do want to bring in just a little bit of other PlayStation news that dropped this week, that thankfully dropped before we recorded the show, which is, of course, the fact that we'll be getting new PlayStation Plus games next week. The PS Plus games I accidentally wrote down for July, because I don't know what month it is. But for June, the 3 games that we'll be getting as part of PlayStation Plus are Operation Tango, which will be a brand new for PlayStation online cooperative game. Star Wars Squadrons, the previously released Star Wars game that's meant to put you in the pilot seat of both the Empire and the Rebel Alliance, as well as Virtua Fighter 5 Showdown, which I believe is a remastered version of Virtua Fighter 5. I really want to get that Virtua Fighter 5. I don't know the franchise, and I apologize to any Virtua Fighter fans who are going to get immediately upset about me saying that. But it will actually be available for 2 months, June and July. So yeah, you'll have 2 months to be able to have that one until Monday, August 2nd. I guess I'll start with Star Wars Squadrons. I haven't actually finished the campaign, but I got hooked a little bit on the multiplayer. I think this is a smart one to add, because it is fully playable in PSVR, which is as our writer Tom Marks for the review said, like that's the way if you can play this game. It is so cool to be able to play it in VR. I don't know if either of you have had a chance to.
Not in VR, but yeah. I really enjoy. I had fun with Squadrons. I was surprised because that type of there's this old lady part of me that wants to say that type of spaceship game doesn't really like typically appeal to me. But I had great fun with it. So I'm stoked that more people get their hands on this one.
Yeah,
I've actually never played it. The only thing I ever remember of that game is every view angle is like you're at the bottom of a Pringles can and you're just seeing
because you're in the cockpit and you're in
the cockpit. You just see the circle. I know people love it. I'll probably check it out.
It's definitely worth a look if you have any sort of like cursory interest, especially in like being able to pilot a Star Wars ship. They do it very well. And then Operation Tango will be a brand new multiplayer online game. It's asymmetrical challenges, essentially where one of you is a hacker and another of you is a spy, and you're working together. You have to have a microphone to be able to talk to each other. That might be a fun one to do some co-op with for a Beyond Let's Play or something, but we'll have to check that one out in June, not July, as I wrote down in the run of show, you silly man, Jonathan. But that's going to pretty much wrap us up for this episode. Mark and Lucy, thank you so much for joining me. People can find you both on Twitter. Lucy, you're at Luce O'Brien, and Mark, you're at Mark Medina.
There it is,
at
right
Mark
there.
_Medina, excuse me.
Yep.
There's the space. And of course, I'm at JM Dornbush. Normally you can find myself, Lucy, and occasionally our guest star Mark, who was recently on to talk about Returnal as well, as Brian Altano and Max Scoville on Podcast Beyond every Wednesday, normally at 3 p.m. Pacific, on IGN, on YouTube, and your favorite podcast services around the world. But that's otherwise going to pretty much wrap us up for our Horizon Forbidden West State of Play post-show as part of Podcast Beyond. It's a very long title, but I appreciate you all being here. And even though this show's over, IGN's Summer of Gaming is really just getting started. So much has happened today, but we're just getting started. All summer long, IGN will be bringing you tons of gaming news, exclusive reveals, and so much more. So please join us tomorrow for our coverage of Sony's State of Play. Why does it say that here? You should know that. But please continue to join us on June 10th for the Summer Game Fest Kickoff Live, June 11th for the IGN Expo, June 12th through 15th.
Gamescom is right,
and of
like
course,
right after.
August 25th through 27th, a little further out, will be Gamescom. But there will
wait,
be plenty
no, that's not right after. It's like a whole
in
month.
between.
So I guess nothing's happening in
thing
July.
Called E3 is back, and we'll be back there this year.
Wait, July is
and covering
Comic-Con,
every
right?
press conference and breaking down some of the biggest news in the industry.
It's
IGN
either
Summer
Comic-Con
Gaming
or
is here for
something.
you all summer long. So catch us please on IGN, YouTube, your smart TVs, pretty much anywhere
If there is
you
a
can think
Comic-Con
of. So
this
thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you all soon right here on IGN.
IGN Summer of Gaming 2021 is presented by USAA Insurance.
All right, so
and Army National Guard. Pursue multiple paths while you serve. Reach your greatest potential with Army National Guard.
But yeah, hopefully we will.
Not only.
Hopefully we'll see a lot of this stuff, and I'm gonna be watching it, and I'm gonna try to record myself watching it, reacting to stuff. And I said I can bounce around the different channels. It doesn't have to be just this one, but. Like I said, I looked up. There are 3 things happening this summer. There is E3, which is E3 Online. There's Geoff Keighley's Summer of Games, and there's the IGN Expo, the IGN Summer of Games. Wait, hold up. Let me get it right. So the IGN Summer of Gaming, the E3 Online, and Geoff Keighley's Game Fest. I think it's a Game Fest for Geoff Keighley. So those are the 3 things that are happening, and we'll try to watch all 3 of them if we can. Hopefully nothing overlaps, but we will watch those, and it's gonna be great. All right. So thank you guys for watching. I think this is about over. But yeah, and like I said, I'm still kind of new to this whole reacting thing, so I might not make it as long, and I might edit some stuff out. But this first one, we'll just keep it as is, see how it goes. If you guys want it shorter, just let me know, and I can just keep it to where it's just a trailer instead of like, cause I did want to react to like and watch some of the interviews and stuff too, but I didn't know how you guys would feel about that. But just let me know, and yeah, thank you guys for watching. And like I said, just follow me on Twitch, follow me on YouTube, and hopefully we get some stuff where I work at going. And so yeah, thank you guys, and see you later.